Better Than Bookstacks, where we prove to our friends that they aren't as boring as they think they are. My name is Maria.
I'm Jack, and tonight we have Jenna with us.
Hello.
Hey, Jenna.
Jenna. She's the best. Jenna,
Truly.
why don't you tell us about your prophetic portions?
That's quite a way to start it off. Yeah, I just
Well, show the people.
Oh, in my phone case, my mom actually made this phone case.
Ooh.
But on the back side that she didn't make, I keep little fortunes from Panda Express.
Let's go.
Very prophetic.
And
Well, read them off to us.
Okay. You are a leader.
nice. Have you seen that prophecy fulfilled yet?
Obviously. Look at her.
Right on. Go off. Go off, Jenna.
Your sense of humor is a joy to all. I think that will become apparent throughout the night.
Yeah.
For
Sure,
sure.
you're
But
gonna
it's
see
come
all of
true
these,
already.
actually.
That's kind of like an ongoing prophecy. That
You
just
are
is.
always entertaining and delightful. Again.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll
That's really
see.
sweet.
Aw, Panda.
Make happiness happen.
That's like a
What?
call to action.
And-
Wait, I have so many questions.
Wait,
about
there's
that
one more,
Keep
there's one
going,
more.
keep going.
Share your witty humor with others.
So,
Aw.
would you say that like your witty humor is like a identity, a core piece of your identity?
That's a great question.
Because there's a
Low-key,
lot of
yeah.
like humor stuff.
Yeah, you talked. Yeah, you talked.
I
about
think
that.
so, yeah.
That's sweet.
I like to think that I'm above average on the funny scale.
yeah,
I would agree with that.
I would
Personally.
agree. I concur.
Lily?
Or maybe I'm just boring. I don't know. One
Like,
or the
could
other.
you guys prove to me that I'm not? Well, that's what we came
Well,
here
yeah,
to do.
glad you're here.
Great. That's perfect.
Whoa. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, Jenna, what are you going to talk to us about today?
Friendship.
Nice.
Is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. I'm a singer.
Specifically, I love to laugh and I love to make other people laugh.
Mm.
And I think it's incredibly beautiful that we were created in such a way where when we are so filled with happiness, we can't contain it anymore. It just bubbles out of us in the form of laughter. And I think that's really beautiful. So I strive every day to help other people laugh.
That's awesome.
That's like a goal of mine every day. So.
That's
Like,
sweet.
literally, like
Yeah, like
you think about that actively? Like,
Yeah,
do you think
well-
about that actively through your day? Or is it more of like each day you wake up thinking
I think
about
it's like
that?
when I make someone laugh, I'm like, nice. Like I just like brightened their
yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Like that's great. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
after
yeah.
the fact. Because I'm just super naturally funny. I'm just super
Obviously.
like it's not even work or anything. It just happens
It
like
just-
that. And then afterwards, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I did it. But
That's
I
I
often
wouldn't
say
say it's like
that
an active like thing, but
Uh-huh.
it is. Yeah, I probably think about it
Yeah.
every day though.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, how would you define friendship, just in general,
That's a good
for
question.
you? Whether I'm gonna ask you some follow up questions with that too. But thinking about friendship as in like people that you want to be friends with, people that are good friends to you. How would you describe that?
It's a really good question, actually. I don't know. Probably just like I'm an extrovert, so I like to spend all of my time with people. There's been very few times in my entire life, I could probably count them on one hand, where I've like not wanted to be around people. Like I'm like constantly like
okay.
I'm
Uh-huh.
extroverted.
Yeah.
And so I think just being with people through everything, highs, lows, the mundane, everything. Like, and I think like friendships can form really fast. Like even just sitting down with one person and being with them in that moment is enough to like create a bond and like a friendship. I don't know if that's a good definition. I don't know if I really have a good one, but I guess just like being with one another.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Of like actually like a day to day kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so do you think that? Do you have any long distance friends?
My best friend lives in New York right now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Shout out to. I think I know who you're talking about, but I
Hannah.
just realized I don't want to be wrong.
Her name's
Okay,
Hannah.
yeah. That's what I thought.
Hey, Hannah.
Hey Hannah.
Hey, from New York.
What's up, Hannah? Tuning
Hi.
in from New York, watching this.
Come on.
We love you a lot. I mean, Jack doesn't know you.
I don't know you, but
You would love her.
Uh,
She's great.
He's been told that he would love you.
apparently I would love you, Hannah. So
Hannah, you're awesome.
platonically.
I'm sure you had to clarify because I'm sure she felt the
Hey.
energy. So I'm glad you said something.
You never know.
I don't think she would have known.
Kids
yeah,
these
that's it.
days.
Kids these days, really. Kids
One
be
thing-
kidding. What?
Kids be kidding. That's what they say.
I'm sorry.
Jenna, what were you gonna say?
One thing that's interesting with Hannah, she was actually just here for spring break for a week. And like obviously like we both are busy and we don't get to talk to each other every day, but we both like kind of had a conversation while she was here about how like no matter how much like time has passed, like we can sit down and have that like best friend bond, like no matter how much time or space has been in between us. And there's like a statistic where it's like if you're friends with someone for 7 years, they're like a friend until you die. Like if you can make it through 7 years. We're not there yet. I've only been friends with her for like 2.5, but we're getting there.
So. Yeah.
That's super interesting. So okay, 7-year friendship. Do you have any 7-year friends?
No.
Okay, so what has your like what's your journey with friendship looked like, and like, yeah, I guess like what are the things that have influenced like your definition of friendship being, like being around people and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick it off with my deepest and darkest fear. Actually, I
Love
think that's
it.
a good
Perfect.
place.
That's
to
what we're here
start.
for.
Yeah.
So yeah, one of my like biggest fears is like that the people around me don't actually want to be around me, but they're only around me because they A, feel bad for me, or B, it's convenient or they get something out of it. And that was repeated in my life over and over and over again.
Wow.
Growing up, it just happened like that.
Yeah.
It's fine. But I never had like real true friendship until I came to college, and it's actually my second year in college, and I think that I really developed true friendship. A lot of it was because we were united in Christ, but now I even know how to relate and have like really good friendships with people who aren't even Christian, just because I've experienced that myself. So I've only really had like true friends for like 2 or 3 years, but it's been like incredible to see those friendships grow in really cool ways. So
How did you recognize it? Like if you, because that's kind of the struggle that I used to have. Like I didn't know what true friendship looks like, and then when I had true friends, then I was like, oh, so I just wonder what went through your head in that process. What made you be like, this is actually a true friendship?
probably a similar thing where I was like, I definitely didn't grow up thinking I had no friends, but looking back, I'm like, whoa, like how did I even survive that? Especially as like an extrovert, I was like, how did I do that? Yeah, I think just these friendships now, people genuinely caring for me, not because they want something, not because it's convenient, not because they feel bad, but genuinely because they love me. I'm able to look back and be like, oh, it's not what I had, but it's what I have now, and I'm really grateful for it.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. How do you feel like, well, I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. So I'm thinking about friendships in the sense of like people that you know you wouldn't be friends with. Do you feel like you have that kind of radar of people when you meet that you're like, probably I'm not going to be friends with them? Or do you feel like you're just so extroverted that you see everybody as a potential friend? Or like, what does that look like for you?
I think I can definitely hold a conversation with anyone for as long as I need to. I think that I could be friends with everybody, but it's like who's going to be like my inner circle, I guess, is kind of a different question of like, I love to host, and so like have people at my house and just have conversations with them. I have conversations with strangers every single day on campus, and so I'm very used to just like, this person is like a potential friend, I guess. Being like friendly with everyone doesn't always necessarily create like this deep friendship, but it's an aspect of it, I think. So I wouldn't say there's like a like immediate like, oh, this person's like, especially since like being a Christian means like all the I have a friend right now that like if we were in high school before both of us met Jesus, he would have definitely bullied me. Like we would not have been friends.
Yeah.
But now we have this like common like cornerstone of Christ. And so it's like, well, yeah, we're friends, and we have like everything that matters to us is like the same. So even though some people are really different than me, like we can still be friends or even friendly with each other in a way.
Yeah. Like having that common ground has been really important. Yeah. So, what it like spending time with your close friends? What does that look like for you? Like that time you spend with them.
Yeah. I'm a
Good question.
quality time person, so literally we
Mhm.
don't even have to speak to each other. We can just sit there. We play a lot of board games. That's a really big thing that we do. Like the big, long, 4-hour complex board games.
Strategy
We-
games.
I'm here
My
for
it.
old
Yeah.
enemy.
Here
There's
for
like
it.
a group of probably like 10 or 12 of us that we just like rotate like who's playing on like what game, what day. And that's like a really like fun way of us hanging out. My hot take is I hate movie nights. I think movie nights are terrible and we should completely get rid of them.
Okay.
Because if you're going to
Okay.
hang out with people and you're going to be like, let's all get together, but we're going to put this movie on, we all have to face the same direction, and if anyone talks to one another, we're going to get shushed. Then it's like,
Yeah.
I feel the same about skating. Nobody is skating at the same pace. Like
Like
you
roller
can't,
skating?
like
You
you
mean, like,
can't,
ice
yeah,
skating,
yeah,
roller
yeah.
skating?
Yeah.
Like you can't hang out,
Yeah.
you can't talk,
Okay.
and it's like, why are we?
What are we doing?
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
like
That's funny.
if we're like hanging out playing board games or playing video games or literally just in the vicinity together, it's like we could talk if we wanted to, but it's like not having the option,
Okay. Yeah.
not the same. So
Yeah.
but yeah, just like quality time basically of just
Okay.
being around each other in any way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two things I hear that I feel like are really important. The first being comfortable with silence when you're around each other, and like that being a part of friendship, and like it not having to be we're talking about something all the time, or we're always laughing, or we're always
Mhm.
but like being okay with the silence. I think that's really good, and I also think it's really like important. Like what you're doing with your friends is actually really important because if you're doing those activities, like I have friends who love to play sports or like go golf or frisbee golf or like those types of things where it's like you could have conversations but you're also doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like can't focus on the person when I'm doing an activity like
Yeah.
that. Like I'm trying to figure out like, okay, I got to do this, so this is the shot I need to make, or
Mhm.
I'm thinking about all that stuff. And so the quality of the conversation is just like it's not very good. I'm not actually focused on being there with that person. I'm focused on like we're doing an activity.
Mhm.
So I think it's like really important to like, hey, you can structure your time with your friends around like interaction with your friends rather than around an activity,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
making that the priority.
That is so interesting because I used to have like a friend group where we talked about this a lot, where it was like part of the reason why we all became friends is because we felt the same like commonality of we valued the people in front of us, whereas we felt like other people that we hung out with we always had a good time with, but the value was on the event. So it was like if we did something, changed the plans, there was a group of us that stuck together because we were like, we don't really actually care about the plans. We care about the people that are coming. But then there were some of our friends that actually really deeply cared about the plans. And so when we changed the plan, they were like, oh, well, I don't want to do that anymore. And so there was like this, for me specifically, I was always like, "Oh, I'm so butthurt about it. Like, you don't want to hang out with me?" And then I was like, wait, people just don't think that way all the time,
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's my next question for you.
Yeah.
What happens for you when you feel like maybe value doesn't line up in friendship or maybe activity? So, like, for example, you talked about board games. My strategic board games is like my nightmare because I am too focused. First of all, I'm not very smart. So I don't know what to do in that situation.
That's
And
not
I'm
true. I'm not
how
gonna
would
let
you
that
know?
slide.
How would you know?
You're right. I don't know who you are at all. What was your name again?
Literally never met him.
What? Anyways, carry on.
But like I don't think that way. And so when I'm in those moments, I'm like also very focused on like what's happening in front of me. Can I make a move? Is this like even the right thing to do? Blah blah. So I don't feel like I hang out, whatever. So what happens for you in those scenarios when you like have friends that maybe a disc golf situation is like super cool with them, but you're like, I can't focus on you. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, like if I'm the one that can't focus on the conversation or if like they're the ones that dip out because they don't want to do the
Yeah, either one of just like when there's a kind of like a difference of value.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I mean, I think that's kind of back to what I was saying with like the inner rings of friendship.
Yeah.
It's like the people that I spend the most time with are the people who I have the most in common with, where it's like I can text 6 people and be like, hey, we're going to play this game tonight. And they're like, yeah, okay, sounds good. But then, like, there are people that I'm, like, super close with that they just, like, don't like board games. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And so it's like, when I'm doing something different, like, they'll be the first person I'll call. Or a lot of people, like, honestly, that they'll come and just sit and watch the board games. One of our favorite things to do is play a 1-player video game and, like, 20 people watch. Because it really is
That's
just
really funny.
about, like, us being together. And,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
I
cool.
live on a college campus. Never in a time in my life ever again will all of my friends be within, like, a 1-mile radius of me.
That's actually
And so,
true.
That
we,
is
like,
true.
we really take advantage of that.
Uh-huh.
And another thing that I love about my friends is how spontaneous we are. I love to just, like, get up and, like, do something. I'm like, yeah, let's, like, do it. Let's come up with something crazy. I mean, like, we decided to take a road trip to Baton Rouge, and, like, 3 days later we were on the road.
That's so funny.
Wow.
And we were like, who can we,
cool.
and let's text 12 people, and they were all like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
And then 3 days later, we had 3 cars going to Baton Rouge. So it's like, that's
Yeah.
really fun. And I think that was something that really solidified a lot of my friendships at the very beginning. When I was a senior in college, we had this, like, one group of, like, 6 of us where me and my friend Jacob were kind of the instigators. We'd come up with the idea. And then everyone else was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. And so we would just do some, like, crazy stuff, and, you know, it was really
Yeah.
fun. We'd go to, you know, the Fort Worth Water Gardens at 3 a.m. and just hang out, and, like, why not? You know, it's like, yeah, one time Jacob called me and was like, it was like midnight, and he was like, we're gonna go to Buc-ee's. And I was like, no, like, I have homework, like, I need to go to bed. I just finished babysitting. I was like, I'm tired. And he was like, okay, but, like, Hannah said she'd go if you went. I was like, ugh.
You're like, Hannah's my best friend.
I was like, okay, fine.
Hannah, love her. Have
Well,
to
then he
go.
hangs up on me and he calls Hannah and he goes, hey, Hannah, we're going to Buc-ee's.
That's incredible.
That's really funny.
Jenna said she'd go if you go.
That's
Brilliant.
And she was
funny.
like, she's just got done babysitting. She's probably wanting to hang out with people. Okay, fine. And it wasn't
That's
until we were
awesome.
halfway there.
That's really funny.
And we didn't even go to Buc-ee's. We went to his house, his old house, and sat in the front yard. So,
That's funny.
but it
Really
was
funny.
us being
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like, those kinds of things happened every other night.
Mm.
And it was, like, just us being together was, like, so crucial for me understanding, like, what friendship was. And it has, like, pushed me to do that with other people. Like, a lot of the younger students, I'll just say, want to go on an adventure, and I won't tell them what it is. And they're like, no, but, like, what is it? And I'm like, oh, I can't tell you. It's an adventure. And they're like,
That's my
please.
nightmare.
One time, I brought 12 students to my grandma's house to do manual labor. I told them it was an adventure.
That's
so
hilarious.
But then
Yes.
other times, I'll take them to, like, the Christmas store. Like, there's
Yeah.
that store that's, like, completely decorated, like, Christmas
Yeah.
24/7.
Yeah.
And, like, that's really fun. It's like something,
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't know what it is. And sometimes it's the grocery store. But it's literally just being together, and it's that, like, spontaneous, like, let's go on an adventure.
Aw.
So, and I can trace that back to, like, that core friendship group that I had when I was a senior.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
Oh my gosh, that's cool.
That's a lot of fun. That just
Yeah.
sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
I didn't think about that, like, of the environment that you're in and, like, using that. I don't know. You said that and my brain was like, oh my gosh, yeah, because
It's
in
the
college, you
only
could do that.
time in your life
It lit-
when
yeah.
you're within a
Uh-huh.
1 mile radius of, like,
Yeah.
everyone that you know.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
yeah.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah. In your close friendships, what have you noticed have been some things like at the beginning that are themes across all of them that have like solidified those friendships? I know you mentioned that, like quality time and just going and doing things with each other. What else has been, I don't know, formative in your close friendships?
Yeah, I would say, like, friendship is a two-way street. Going back to my deepest and darkest secret for a second.
Yeah, of
or
course,
fear, my
obvious-
deepest and darkest fear
Please.
for a second there.
Your secret.
My
My secret is I have a fear. My fear is.
Having friends that actually reach out and they're like just as much as I do, to be like, oh yeah, let's go to Bucky. Like, yeah, I like want Jenna there enough to call Jenna and tell her that Hannah said she would go if you went, and then vice versa with Hannah. Like she's like having Hannah and Jenna there. It's like worth it to do that like effort.
Yeah.
Kind of. And it's like
It's
having
like
a
worth
two-way.
manipulating them. to
Yeah,
get them there.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And so like having a two-way street, it
Yeah,
like
everybody manipulates everybody.
yeah,
It's the best way to go.
Yeah, just manipulate well and out of love, and
out
it's
of love.
fine.
Yeah, for
Fine.
sure.
If you
fine.
love a person,
If you are you really
This is
even
not
loving
true.
a person if you're not manipulating?
If you're-
them? There's so much
Yeah,
inform-
and
Yeah.
disclaimer,
disclaimer,
This
these
is
are
all a
jokes.
joke.
This is satire.
please don't manipulate people
Yeah.
on a regular basis.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Unless it's to go to Buc-ee's.
Unless you really need to go to Buc-ee's and you don't want to go for yourself.
I forgot what I was saying.
Just really think about
my deepest and darkest fear.
Yes,
That's
your
right.
deepest, darkest fear.
Yeah, like knowing that people actually like want me there because they love me and not just because it's convenient or because
Yeah.
they want something out of it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Having that really early on in a friendship is like really big to me.
Yeah.
It's
Mm-hmm.
like an even like flow of like
Yeah.
okay, I'm friends with you and you're friends with me.
Yeah.
Two-way street.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Curious about this. Has anyone who's your op ever become your friend?
Actually, yes.
Okay.
This girl who I went to high school with that low key we were not vibing.
Low key, we were not vibing.
I don't know. We called her your op, so
Yeah.
was it
That's
low-key?
Op is
fair,
kind of
yeah.
like
I don't know if I'd
ambiguous.
call her my op, but
Okay.
Maybe your
But not
nemesis.
vibing.
we-
Not vibing.
Would you prefer nemesis?
that seems way more harsh.
No, nemesis is somebody you greatly respect. We just had this conversation in the
Nemesis?
office the other day. Yeah, nemesis is like an equal partner of like somebody you respect and you're constantly going head to head. You know, like a villain and a superhero, they have to be like worthy of each other to match.
Okay. Okay.
Anyways,
Interesting.
that's what we talked
I
about in the
like
office
that.
the other day.
Alright,
Yeah, I was
guess
like, I want a
nemesis.
nemesis.
Cool.
I
Like
want a
whatever.
nemesis. If anybody would like to be my nemesis, reach out to me. I would love to chat. The last 4 digits of my phone number in this. If you can guess the rest of it, then you can totally text me. Sorry.
What was the question?
Has anybody
you-
ever
Oh,
gone from your op
yes.
to your friend?
Yeah, we kind of like butted heads in high school a little bit.
Mhm.
And then I came to college and she was part of the BSM. I was like, oh shoot. And she went to my church for a really
Dang it,
long
my
time.
op.
But she like one of
Okay.
the first things she did was like apologize to me. And then we became friends.
That's really
Wow.
beautiful.
Yeah, super
Aw.
That's
beautiful.
cool.
I was like
That's
so ready to
cool.
hold a grudge.
I was
Man.
so ready. That's
so
what
ready.
you're like.
I'm-
Here it is.
I'm so
Me holding it.
glad that you didn't have to hold that grudge.
Yeah, it was
know.
like one of the first things she was like,
Well, you didn't have to hold that grudge whether she apologized or not.
True.
Let's just be clear on
That's
that. But
true.
but I'm glad
She
that there was an
helped you.
opportunity that
Yeah.
softens, opened
Very
your hand
true.
a little bit,
Very
so you didn't
true.
have to hold it.
Yeah.
Grudges are so annoying.
They're really heavy. They're really heavy. It's not worth it.
Very heavy.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess that would probably be. I don't think I've had very many ops in my lifetime.
Fair
If
enough.
the thing is, like, if you don't really have friends, you can't really have ops. You know,
Oh,
Well,
in my opinion.
hot take. That's a
I
hot take.
Maybe that's hot.
Okay.
I don't know.
I disagree.
Okay, explain.
Simply because I think, like, thinking of my childhood, I could be like really annoying and have no friends, and
People still
everyone is
despise
like,
you.
I
They got you.
can't
Yeah, you're
stand
in their
this
awe.
guy 'cause
Okay,
he's so
okay, I
annoying.
changed my mind actually.
But maybe it's just because I'm lonely.
Yeah.
So you never know why people are acting the way they're
Oh.
acting. But
Yeah, that's a good point. I
You
think
can
that was
have
me.
no friends and be an op.
I think that was straight up me in not middle school, in elementary. So to all my ops out there, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was kind of an annoying kid. I won't lie.
Aren't we all?
And now you
though?
can be friends.
Now,
be
if
friends.
you
What
would like
happened
to be
with
my
me?
friend, you can text me.
Or
Guess the
nemesis.
last,
If you guess,
the rest of your phone
if you
numbers.
guess the rest
If
of
you'd
my
like to be a
photos.
sophisticated op and become a nemesis,
Yeah, if
you
you
want
would like
that
to
op
become
upgrade.
You have two routes you can really take.
yeah,
with
that
this.
there's-
upgrade.
Yeah, and if you can guess my number, you can totally text me.
yeah, guess her phone number,
Guess it.
and you'll be able to text her.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
So, going from ops to friends or nemesis to friends or
Mm-hmm.
just like not vibing to we're good, took a conversation where at least one person was willing to like kind of lay themselves
Yeah.
down, be very humble,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and be
Dang.
open to a next step.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's really sweet.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's just like a beautiful process too, and that happens like
Mm-hmm.
throughout friendships.
Mm-hmm.
What have been some like aspects of like hard aspects of life that you've walked through with friends where like, and I can go first if you want because I have examples, but like you're friends, you go through something hard,
Yeah.
it gets a little rocky, and then you patch it up.
Oh, a friend
Like-
breakup? Or no,
No,
not a breakup.
Not a breakup, a reconciliation.
A friend break.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you went on a break with a friend.
Do you have any examples of that, or you also don't have to share?
Yeah,
I
that.
thought the question was going a different way.
Yeah, I did too. I was.
And
Where'd
I
you
had
think
a
it was
story
going?
in my head already. That's why I was
Wait,
laughing.
where do you think it was
Oh.
going?
Like a rocky start is where I thought it was going.
Let's do that.
One of my
first.
best friends, the one that called me and Hannah, he was sitting with a group of people, and I walk in, and this is the first time I've ever met him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's turned away from the door, just like talking. I walk in, and he goes, "And I hate white women."
Oh
Yeah.
my
And I was like,
gosh. That's crazy.
They were talking
That's
about
wild.
their dating preferences.
But
I didn't know that.
Still
That's
crazy.
still
But I like
crazy,
walked in,
yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's kind of
But
a
now we're
weird
like
thing,
really,
huh?
really good friends.
That's good.
It
Okay,
took
cool.
just a few seconds of explaining for it
Nice.
to make sense, but
That's
I
really funny.
mess with him sometimes.
You
about
said,
it. It's really funny.
"Hey,
You're
white
like,
woman
hey,
here."
I can't
what's
leave if
up?
you need
She
me
said
to.
party.
Heard you hate me.
Did you hate me? I came
It's
because I
just
heard
also-
hey.
It's also like such a him thing to do too. It's like
That's
makes
really
the-
funny.
Like makes the most sense.
That's
But what was the
funny.
actual question?
The actual
Friendship
question was
breakup
like-
or friendship break.
Friendship break.
So like you go through a rough patch. How do you navigate the rough patch, and how do you navigate reconciliation?
Dang.
Or like what does
okay.
that look like for you?
You sound like
Yeah.
a pastor.
Do you want me to
How do you
like go
navigate
through the
reconciliation?
like resource that I
Do you
share
have a
with other
resource?
people?
Do you-
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
That's super
That's the
cool.
most BSM thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know
It's
this,
on my
but
fridge.
Jenna's a Baptist.
Okay.
And
Straight up.
It all
There's
starts with
an
the same
acronym.
letter.
Yeah,
No, it doesn't. I wish it did.
that would be hilarious. But
That'd be
they
super
would.
Baptist.
The Baptists would. They would.
No, but
We love
that's,
the Baptists.
honestly, I love those frameworks because I feel like a lot of people don't learn how to do friendship
Yeah.
or just like relationships
crazy.
well, and so there's some things like conflict resolution and like.
It's
different
literally
things.
called conflict resolution among Christians. That's
All
what
right,
it's
tell us
called.
about it.
Oh,
I'll
no.
give you the
I
bullet
have some
points.
hot takes
So-
about Matthew, so let's open this up.
Okay, so it's specifically for like Christians that are having conflict among
Yeah.
each other, but a lot of it can carry over to just like conflict you're having with anybody. But the first part is like we have an enemy who like wants to destroy unity, like
Yeah.
so that's like one thing to know. And then the next part kind of goes into like giving them the benefit of the doubt, and also when
Oh.
somebody else maybe they have 90% of the issue, own your 10%.
Mm-hmm.
So those are like two
Yeah.
kind of like checks within yourself before you go. And then there's another one that says like think about it like if it's even worth talking to them about, because sometimes you just need to like absorb it and move on, and it's like
Oh.
would cause more
This is not where I thought this was
Chaos.
going. This sounds much healthier than I thought it was going to go. Okay.
it
go
would
ahead.
cause a lot more chaos if you actually like brought it up than just being like,
Yeah.
you know what,
Yeah.
that person didn't intend that,
Mm.
I'm just gonna kind of swallow that and
Mhm.
we're gonna move on. Now
Right.
if it continues to bug you and you're thinking about it,
Yeah,
that's a
then
sign
it's
that you're
worth-
like, okay,
yeah.
you know what, I think I need to bring it up with this person. And that's happened before where I've told myself, no, I know this person, I know they have good intentions, it was a mistake that they made, and I'm just gonna
Mhm.
but then it festers and you're like, okay, I
Mhm.
need to talk to them.
Yeah.
And so I've had that happen too. And then it's like, there's like a list of statements where it's like, don't use the like, you always do this
Mm.
every
Yeah.
time you
Yeah.
do this, something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But be like, when you do this, it makes me feel this. So you're not calling the person,
Yeah.
you are like this, but you're like,
Yeah.
when.
Or like
you-
when this happened, or like when. Yeah. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
it made me feel like this.
Mhm.
So like, roommates, right? Like, if they don't do the dishes. When you didn't do the dishes after I asked you to, it made me feel a little bit invalued in my own home.
Dang.
Yeah.
And then prayer, obviously. I'm probably
Yeah.
missing some stuff. That's some of the big stuff right there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So you've moved through that with friends?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, many times. Even if it's
Yeah.
just like a little bit of it, where I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm reminded, I'm like, okay, no, I had 10% of that. Like before I go into
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
conversation.
Uh-huh.
Like, I need to own what I did too.
Yeah, I was just talking to a friend about this the other day. This is like a very theology nerd like framework, I guess. But I was like, man, you know, when you like think about like blame and who's more in the blame and all that, it's like dismissing the fact that you sided with death in some way, you know? Like, and that's, it's kind of a bigger idea of sin and things like that and like evil in the world and all of that. But like when you're contributing to it in any way, shape, or form, you are in a sense saying like, I'm cool with that. Like I'm like shaking hands and being cool with like whatever that is. So even if I like we're in conflict, I'm mad at you, and then I just like take a dig at you, or I like talk bad about you behind your back, it's like I'm still siding with that same thing that hurt me, you know? And thinking about it of like what ways can I side with life and be like, what's the most life-giving thing to do for this person, for this situation, in this area, like, you know what I mean, has like helped me create a framework within friendship, but also within like spaces and how to function in a world that's full of sin, you know? Because sin's not just like the things that we do to each other, it's like it's in the air we breathe, you know? So if I any chance that I get to say like I don't want to contribute to like the harm of somebody, because that's what sin's doing. It's just like you were talking about, like, killing and destroying. So how could I be a part like of resisting that and bringing life into the spaces that I'm in? I think is really important. So it's interesting that you talked about like even just thinking about. I think that first part that you're talking about is so crucial. Of what is it that I'm upset about? Can I name it? And is it something that's worth bringing up? Whether because of the way it's bothering me or because of, you know, like thinking through that, I think it's really important, especially within friendship, because like you're just gonna like say stuff that's mean sometimes, and you're gonna like do things that you don't mean, and you're gonna be misunderstood, you're gonna misunderstand people. So like how much of that are we gonna let be that, or how much of that do we need to address? So
Yeah, that reminds me of two things. Number one is like, if there's no conflict, then there probably isn't anything really happening. like
Yeah.
nothing,
Yeah.
you're not moving forward. And when like conflict is not a bad thing in and of itself.
Yeah.
It's how you deal with it. And it's like, do you let it fester, or do you deal with it really healthily and actually allow that to move your friendship forward? And then also something I forgot about the handout thing. It has the two verses. One of them is the one where it's like, when you remember that you've sinned against someone else, leave your sacrifice at the
Yeah.
temple, go and make it
reconcile with
right.
your brother.
Like that's how important unity is.
Yeah.
Before you worship God, before you sacrifice to God, like you need to go make it right. And then the other one is the church discipline one, where it's
Yeah.
like go to them and then bring more people, and like the severity of like unity among Christians. So,
Yeah. I'm thinking of like commitment in friendships, and I'm trying to figure out how to word it, but like the like conflict is really important. I think conflict becomes more important the more commitment there is in a relationship, like in general.
oh.
Because you're gonna have conflict, but if you're committed, then it's like, I don't know. I'm also trying. So I'm trying to define like conflict in my head, because I'm like,
Yeah.
if there's no commitment in a relationship, is there conflict?
yeah, like if there's no conflict, there's no direction. Like there's no, you're not moving
Like, you don't
forward
need any-
anywhere.
Like somebody cuts you off on the
Yeah.
highway, like
yeah.
that upsets me, but I don't have a conflict with that person. They
Yeah.
just drive away, and
Right.
that's it.
Uh-huh.
And maybe I think about it later, but it's not really a conflict.
Yeah.
Versus like, my friend cuts me off on the road, and it
You're like,
almost
ow,
is very bad. Like, I'm gonna talk to him about it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, hey man,
Like, hey man,
What
don't
was
cut me
that?
off.
I almost died.
Hey man, you
No, I'm
almost
just
killed
kidding.
me. That would be crazy.
That would be bad.
That would be so
That would
crazy.
be a conflict.
That
And
would
so
be a
in that
conflict.
situation,
It's
conflict. How do you like? I'm gonna pivot from conflict and go more commitment. Like, what does commitment look like in a friendship? What should that look like in
That's
a
a
friendship?
great
Like, what do you
question.
think of?
That's a great
Wow,
question.
that's so good that I don't have an answer for it.
Well, think about it. We'll stay on silent. So. Just kidding. We'll wait. So.
Oh gosh.
I think about. Okay, I'll
Go
answer for a second.
You got it.
I think about when you were saying that. I don't think I've thought about friendship without. They are so intertwined for me.
Yeah.
And I think I may have talked to both of you about this, but like, yeah, I have an issue. I have issues because in my head, like when I'm committed to you, I'm like extremely committed, and like it's like kind of intense, and I gotta chill, whatever. But like I have to have like tiers or almost layers of friendship to like monitor how committed I am to them.
Like have a
'Cause I will,
defined like this is how committed I am to
yeah,
you.
this is what I'm gonna do with
That's
this.
fine.
Did you
this
know
layer
that
of
you're the
person.
average of your 6 closest friends?
I have
So
heard
think
that,
of
and I
your
don't
closest
get it.
inner circle.
Okay.
And it's like the people that you're around the most.
Yeah, average of
the
what,
people
though?
that are in
Like-
like the average of their
Like my personality becomes like
not
what
just
do
your
you mean?
personality, but like your values. Like every aspect of you. Like
Interesting.
what do you spend your time on? Who like what do you care about?
Everything
What's
in
your
me
goal?
wants to reject that.
But
I know
does
it's
it?
probably true, but I'm a
'Cause
little like
you're
no,
talking about tiers of
I'm my
friendship.
own person.
And it's like you're
Uh-huh.
like the people that you surround yourself with the most, your top like 6 people, like that's what you're absorbing and then that's what's gonna come out
Yeah.
as well.
Well, okay, question for you on that. Is it your top people that you're closest with, or is it the 6 people that you're around the most? Because I would say the 6 people that I don't have probably 6 people that I'm around enough around here, but like my closest friends all live in different states, and they're my best friends. Like they know everything about me pretty much. So which one would it be?
I don't know. I quote Hannah Owens at least once a day. And she lives in New York.
I think it's a
So fair.
mix.
I would
You
agree
think
I
with
think
that.
it's a
Mix,
mix because
okay.
you have like
mixed
the
bag,
people you're
if you will.
interacting with most often and the people you're closest with. Those could be different.
Yeah.
People you're interacting with are still rubbing off on you, and the people
Yeah.
you're closest with, like those are the people you're most vulnerable with. And so
Yeah.
I think
That's
there's
fair.
like a core piece of you that's being more formed by the people you're like closest friends with,
Mhm.
but the people you're around most often are forming like maybe some parts deeper in you, but a lot of it is probably like mannerisms, how you communicate, how you respond to things, like that type
Uh-huh.
of stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting. Uh-huh.
I am no expert, and I don't know what I'm talking about.
So let me
But
just
if I
be
had to
clear.
think about it, that's how I would think about it.
Okay, Jenna, do you have an answer?
Repeat the question.
Yeah, commitment. and-
Just commitment
Oh
in
yeah, like
general, or,
commitment in a friendship. What does that look like for you? What is that? What do you think of when you think like?
I guess for me it's like time. Because I said that earlier, but I'm
Oh,
I'm like
interesting.
because people
Interesting.
make time for what they care about.
Oh, you
Yeah.
mean prioritization of time, not like amount of time.
I think those
Probably
go
a bit
hand
of
in
both,
hand.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
wait.
I think that those go hand in hand because it's like, okay, one of my good friends is like full-time student, works on leadership team, has a track scholarship, like is one of the most busiest people that I know. But she prioritizes, even though it's a little bit of time, she prioritizes that to her friends.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also people that it's like, well, I spend almost all the time with them, but it's still them prioritizing it. It doesn't. It's
Okay.
like a mustard seed situation, right? Like you don't have. To,
Are you Baptist?
Wait,
Wait, who said that?
explain. I'm curious.
Well, the mustard seed thing is like, well, it doesn't matter like how much faith you have. What matters is what you put that faith in, right? So it's like you
Okay.
can have faith the size of a mustard seed as long as it is within, as long as that faith is in the all-powerful God.
Right.
Yeah.
It'll move mountains. Like that's the whole. That's what he's
Yeah,
saying. Is like
yeah.
like faith in God is the important part,
Mhm.
not how much you necessarily may have.
Okay.
It's probably not a great connection, but that's what came to my head.
No, but I
Fair.
hear what you're saying of like, and it is really like, my friends who are really busy who still find time to like be with me
Because
and,
you
like,
find
meet me
time
where
for
I'm
the
at.
things you care about.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really impactful.
Yeah.
It's probably more impactful. It feels more impactful sometimes when you're like, I know you're really busy. I really appreciate that you're taking some time to like sit with me, or like check up on me throughout the week and
Yeah.
and respond to my texts and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have lock-in at my house sometimes.
Mhm.
There's this video on Disney Plus of Olaf and the Arendelle Yule log, and every like 20 minutes Olaf runs across the screen, and we put that on the TV and we just all do homework together.
That's
Wow.
It's like,
hilarious.
yeah, we don't really have a lot of time because we need to be doing homework, but we're gonna do it together.
I like
just stuff like that.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
It's like
sweet.
locking in together. We lock in.
We lock in. We
Nice.
gotta lock
Lock
in.
You want to go lock in, girl's house? Yeah. So.
Oh,
Wait, that's cool.
Sweet.
Yeah,
I like
and I've been
that.
doing that
That's
since
sweet.
I first came to UTA, so
Mm.
special.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it's I do think it's like, I guess because like quality time is such a big thing for me. It's
Mhm.
like I want to spend time with my friends,
hmm
and I, in a way, expect them at least a little bit to want to,
Yeah.
I understand
Uh-huh.
things come up, but like, you do make time for the things that you want to do.
Yeah.
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 That's good. I'm pivoting.
Okay.
Do it.
Pivot.
So you've talked about a lot about like joy in friendships and laughter and that being a big part of what you want to bring to friendships and just like being friends with people. And I agree. Like laughter should be a part of relationships.
He's like,
and
I completely disagree with
I
you.
like
I
that's.
hate
I
laughing.
can't believe you said that.
I actually
And
don't ever
I've
want
never
I've never
laughed.
laughed. What is
I've never
I've
laughed.
never
What is-
laughed. I've never smiled. People are super intimidated by me.
And I don't know why.
I've never
He
been
said-
called dainty or gentle.
Okay.
Okay, and
Okay.
so I am dainty and gentle, and that's okay. I'm a real
I
boy,
did not realize
so
that
I
was
can
going to be
take it.
such a big deal.
It's a,
When if I could eat my words again, if I
No,
could
it's
go
okay.
back to that moment and go,
it's true.
that would.
It's not.
I would.
It's not something a real boy wants to hear, but it's true. Um,
You are a real boy.
Thank
Don't let
you.
yourself tell yourself.
No, I am a real boy.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
are.
Aw.
Yeah.
Heard it here first. For like the 4th time or something.
Yeah, sorry. You guys
Sorry.
have literally heard that so many times, but you're welcome. Honestly, actually, no. Not sorry. You're welcome.
A good old fashioned running bit. Jenna. Speaking of bits, so you're talking about laughter and friendships. What about the like stuff in friendships that's like not fun? Life is tough. There's not much to laugh about in a season.
Yeah.
Like,
Season. We've really gotten really.
Did you know that they're Baptist?
wow. Okay.
Sorry, I'm so sorry that you were in this very.
Circumstances?
Sorry, no, sorry.
Should I change? The
No, you
word?
can say whatever you want. I just was laughing because I was like, wow, we sound so Christianese right now. But
Well,
it's good.
we have talked about.
Yeah, it's true. We have. Yeah,
Scripture
no, I was
and
part of
God
that.
and all
I'm
the
contributing
things,
to
so,
it. I was
okay.
just saying it was funny.
If you guys haven't caught on by now, we believe in Jesus and.
Yeah, you guys should too.
Talk
Jenna,
about
you
it.
want to share the gospel?
Um,
No, ask your question, Jack.
like talked a lot about laughter and friendship. What's the role of like the hard moments, the
Yeah.
tears in friendship, if you will?
Yeah.
That was a really good question.
The tears. That was really beautiful. I didn't even catch that. Okay. No, not. Wait.
Every
These
week I
tears
rank
or
my
these
friends.
tears?
From
Wait.
best
Oh.
to worst. No, I'm just
These
kidding.
tears or these tears? Wait, time out.
Yeah,
Which
no,
one?
tears is in rankings for sure.
Yeah, I
No.
rank them every week.
Yeah, I'm talking about
on
tears.
on a chalkboard.
I have a friend that always goes every time we talk about her friends. She goes, "Oh, rank them." It's like the most uncomfortable. It's really funny. Okay,
That is funny.
but you were talking.
No, I'm in tears as in like
Yeah, I figured.
juxtaposed
yeah.
with laughter, like sadness.
Okay, perfect. Okay,
So,
I just
yeah.
needed to confirm. I was like, wait. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Water from your ducks.
I don't know if you guys know this, but there's holes in your eyes.
Yeah,
They're called
I
tear
think,
ducts.
I think that being part of just being with people means that kind of stuff is eventually gonna come up, and
Yeah.
I think that it's like
Yeah.
really good to have people to talk to.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm a verbal processor, so
Are you really?
yeah, can believe
Me
it or
too.
not.
Both
So
of you.
literally just having
Same.
somebody there to talk to, not even necessarily to give me advice. Sometimes I need the advice, but
Mm.
mostly just like to have someone, like a shoulder to cry on, honestly.
Mm.
And like of all of my friends, like I would trust every single one of them with the things that are like more vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I find that when you're willing to share those hard things, it makes other people realize that they're not alone and that they can share hard things and go through hard things too.
Mm.
And it's not something that's like taboo that we shouldn't talk about, but it's something that actually we should really talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the hard
uh-huh.
things. And there can be happiness and laughter in those too.
Yeah.
Because as you wipe away the
Mm.
tears, sometimes it's good to have a little laugh too.
Yeah.
So,
Sometimes.
what?
Sorry. Keep going.
That was it.
Oh, I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
But shoot, we were talking about
Sadness.
sadness, and then there's laughter and sadness.
It's equally important to
When
do those
you-
things.
So like vulnerability breeds vulnerability,
Yeah.
and I also think like piggybacking off of what you were saying, I think it's really beautiful that when we share our hard things, have an opportunity to like. There's something just built in humans where like giving and helping is like it's core to like who we are and how we experience joy. Like it's giving someone something or helping them with something is like such a just a wonderful experience. And when you share your hard things, you're giving someone the opportunity to care for you. And it's such like a humble, vulnerable place to be.
Man.
I think y'all
But
just
it's such a
broke my
beautiful
brain.
thing to be.
No, because
beautiful place to
literally
be.
earlier this year, I was struggling with like letting people in on my own life
Yeah.
for prayer or just like keeping people updated. My friend was like, you are denying people. Like Jesus says to love your neighbor, and you are literally by like not letting them into your life in this way, denying them the chance to get to obey Christ in that way.
Yeah,
And I
would
needed to hear
also-
that. That's intense, but I needed it at the time.
Yeah. Well, the other part of that, like, love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you're not loving yourself
Yeah.
because you're denying yourself the
Yeah.
opportunity to be
Yeah.
cared for. So it's a both. Yeah.
Yeah, like how are you supposed to love the person if you don't
Yeah.
ever experience that, know that, and can do that, like
Yeah.
for yourself? Yeah.
And it's
That's
not
so
something to
interesting.
like make you feel shame hearing like
It should be
if
freeing.
if we're saying that and you're feeling like, oh, I'm so ashamed that I haven't shared that or I struggle with that, like that's not the goal. The goal is that
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
everybody needs help, period, in life.
Yeah.
And sharing what you need help with is what gives you that help and like is
Yeah.
really healthy and good, and so it should be freeing,
And
like you said. Yeah.
we all
Yeah.
want to be known by people. Like,
Yeah.
we want to be fully known and fully loved. And there's so much fear in, like, well, if somebody truly fully knew me, there's no way that they could also fully love me.
Yeah.
And that is where the incredible craziness of, like, well, God created you and knows everything, the worst things you've ever done. He knows everything about you. And he fully loves you perfectly in a way that another person or friend could never do that.
Yeah.
So it's like we seek that in our friendships, and there is a level of that where it's like we want to be known by the people around us, but ultimately, like, God is our perfect friend
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that way too. So it's like it's both combined.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We like want to be known by
Yeah.
the people around us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have you experienced / how did you navigate, if you have, like putting yourself out there to be fully known and not being fully loved?
Yeah. That's a great question.
Yeah. I think I don't know if I can think of a time. Because I think it's all kind of in my own perspective. I'm like, well, they like can't. I can tell you a time where it was the exact opposite of that, where I like fully thought that this person was like not gonna
Yeah.
think that
I
it
see
was
what you're
cool.
saying.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
So,
yes, please.
It was actually when I decided to put my faith in Jesus for the first time. I had been meeting with a girl to read the Bible with her, and I had pretty much been like lying to her about what was going on in my life because I just
Yeah.
didn't want to deal with it. It was so much sin, and I was like, I enjoy my sin. I don't want to stop doing sin.
Yeah.
And so, but when I prayed to receive Christ, it was a few months later, and I just had this like overwhelming urge where I was like, well, like I made it right with the Lord, but I also lied to her. So I need to go and apologize and
Okay,
like come
yeah.
clean. And I don't really know fully what I was expecting. Maybe for her to just be like, oh, okay, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But without missing a beat, I was like, will you forgive me? I've been lying to you. Without missing a beat. She was like, oh yeah, I forgive you. Like, I forgive you because Jesus forgave me. And then she helped me, like, talk through, like, the decision I had made and, like, helped me in that way, too, where I was like, this is, like, wild. Like, the love of Jesus is definitely in this person. But, yeah, where it's like, I think sometimes we can go into it with our own perspective or, like, how we think it's going to go. Or even on the other side be like, well, I still just don't think this person can really, like, love me,
Yeah.
even though I've
Yeah.
shared this stuff. And so sometimes it's our own perspective that's wrong on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like nobody that's not God is going to be able to fully love you perfectly. That's
True.
just the truth.
True.
But I think also there is a lot of perspective issue too. So.
Yeah. Coming back to like friendships and commitment too, in that, like, I don't know, it's not true of all friendships or all scenarios, but I feel like there's a point where you're getting to know someone, you're spending a lot of time with them, and then you find out something about them that they share with you that is like incongruent with the like person you've known, so to speak.
Yeah.
But you have an opportunity there to like, no, I've committed to this person as a friend. I've committed a lot of time and like emotional equity into this relationship. And yeah, it just
That's when communication comes in.
Right. And it's
that's
more
when you're like,
incentive.
I'm committing even further, because I'm
Yeah.
like, it's like a bump in the road, and it's like you either have to speed the car up to get over the bump, or you're just gonna be. So it's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna commit further and actually like talk to this person.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, and it hurts, but it's also like taking a step back if you can. It's really hard to do. So much easier said than done. But taking a step back in that moment and saying like, "Oh, I haven't known this, but this person feels safe enough with me now to
like, say
be
something.
vulnerable."
That's really beautiful.
And that's like
Yeah.
a really like it hurts, but what an honor, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like when you were saying that, I was like, I don't think I've ever experienced, like, I think I've always felt that kind of honor when somebody shared something that's kind of incongruent with them.
Yeah.
And I think because I, like, am an internal processor, so it takes me a long time to, like, think. Shocking for those of you who know me and know I'm a yapper, but it's true. But, like, I think I have always thought it takes me a lot, and it takes a lot of courage for me to say something. So when someone comes to me, I think that that's where I've experienced a lot of the, like, being full, wanting to be known, sharing myself, putting myself out there, and then not receiving that, is that I'm like, this took a lot of effort for me to think through, process, identify, and bring it to you in some way. And so I think sometimes I have, like, misidentified that for people, because, you know, you always think, oh, everybody functions like me, you know, and they don't. So sometimes people have shared things with me that I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that to me. I feel so, like, it's shocking. It threw me off. I don't know what to do, but I'm like, I can't believe you said that to me. That took, you know, and sometimes they're kind of like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. Like, it wasn't that serious, you know, and I'm like, oh. So that's where I feel like I've experienced the most disconnect in my own self. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
some of the girls that I disciple, like, when they do something like that, I left this tidbit out with the story I told a second ago. She told me she was proud of me. That was like the first time I think that I know. She said, I forgive you completely because Jesus forgave me, and I'm proud of you. And so I think that's the first time anyone had ever told me they were proud of me in my whole life.
That's so beautiful.
And so whenever somebody tells me something like that, I'm like, the first thing I say is like, thank you for sharing that with me, and I'm really proud of you. Like, and I feel like, because I never heard that growing up, like, that someone was proud of me, I say it a lot now, but it's never empty words.
Yeah, because
I'm
it means
very
so much to
serious
you.
about that. I throw it around a lot, but because I mean it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm proud of you for taking that step, and thank you for telling me that.
Yeah.
And then I'll jump into, like, okay, now let's address this or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Right.
But, like, taking a second and being like, I'm proud of you for that. And, like, that was really good. So and thank you for sharing that. Thank you for trusting me, kind of like you're saying.
Yeah. Wait, when you talked about the speed bump,
Yeah.
that I feel like that's just been running through my head ever since you said it. Of, like, no, it truly is, like,
You have to accelerate
am I going to make
to
a
get over
decision
it.
to do the hard work of, like, actually moving forward, or am I going to make a decision to stay still and not do anything, you know? And there are some, like, immediate responses, because I think that there are some times that you hear things that you're like, whoa, that was, you know, and some people just kind of freeze naturally, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but thinking about, like, my commitment is the thing that drives me forward in that, you know.
Yeah.
I have a hard time, like, in friendships letting go, because in my head I'm like, we're committed. I'm like, we gotta move.
We've already gone over 100 speed bumps.
Yeah, I'm like, we gotta go. Not even. I'll be on the first one, and I'll be like, we gotta go, and then I'm like, I have to. There's a lot of times in my life where I have to be like, okay, chill. Like, that's like, you're fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All she did was check me out at the grocery store. Now I'm like,
That's
best
funny.
friends.
Like, okay. I'm like, oh yeah. I did that at the grocery store the other day. I was like, this is so dumb. But, like, there's this old lady that was trying to get the dill, and she asked this other lady, and I was trying to do it, and then I, like, couldn't get there fast enough, and I left, and, like, the rest of the time I was like, I'm a horrible person. And then I was like, okay.
I let my best friend down.
That's how I felt internally. I was like, I let her down. She can't pick it up. She can't get it. She's an old lady. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, and then I had to be like, that's crazy, you know? Like, chill. It's not that big of a deal. But
That's
a
funny.
little insider scoop to my brain, in case you're wondering.
I'm gonna pivot off that because you're talking about
He
like
said, I'm changing the subject.
no. But like you're talking about kind of putting your view of friendship on someone else and then checking
Yeah.
yourself. I think that's really important. Of like, friendship is a two-way street, but you're only responsible for your side of the road.
Yeah.
And it's like fully on you, and your side of the road affects the other person, right? But
Mhm.
it's like you can't control what the
yeah.
other person said. Like you talked about being vulnerable, sharing something, and not getting that back.
Yeah.
And it's like it's just like a risk that if you're okay with taking it, like you sharing is not a okay. Now you have to share back. Like if I share something with you, it's like I feel comfortable with you to share this, and I don't expect anything, and I don't like you don't owe me anything, but I feel comfortable with you. I trust you enough with this. I'm gonna share this. I think it's really hard to not expect things in return.
Yeah.
Though I think it's like because it is a two-way street,
Yeah.
and it can hurt a lot when you don't get that back. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
it's a tough line to walk.
Yeah. It's like that rejection piece of things.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I at least growing up didn't understand how much rejection can come or how much risk comes in friendship. Like I don't know, I just think like when you're a kid you don't think about it that way. You're like, this is so and so, we met at the playground, we're friends, you know. Whereas like when you get older there is a level of risk that you take with each person, and part of the risk is being like caring enough to be like, they may not want that. They may not have the same expectations, the same values in this friendship. So like I can't just hold them to something, or you know what I mean? Or maybe I have to say like, this is something that's important to me. It's not important to you. I'm going to have to either adjust my expectations or just be okay with the fact that it's, you know, that need, so to say, is not met, you know?
Yeah.
So it's interesting as you get older to think about friendships too as risk and commitment.
Well, and
more than anything.
the cost is higher too. Like
Yeah.
your friends don't live within a mile of you anymore. Like
Yeah.
They live in New York.
right.
They
And
live in
so-
New York. Shout out to
I was
Hannah.
gonna bring that up.
Yeah.
Shout out to Hannah.
But like there comes a point where you have to evaluate each friendship and be like, okay, it's just costing more now. Like, is it still worth this cost?
That scared me. He said that, and that scared me in general.
It can be.
Well,
It's
you know
true.
what?
No,
That
yeah,
is
it's
so real in my
No,
life.
it's so
In-
true.
But
You're
in,
right.
But in my life right now,
Yeah.
like coming to this point where I'm about to move overseas
Whoa.
for 2
Whoa.
years.
Why? For the
Whoa.
Baptists. Just kidding.
No, for Jesus. Okay?
For Jesus.
Yeah,
But
no,
with
for
the
the
Let's
Baptists.
clarify here.
But yeah, when you say yes to one thing, you say no to other things. And so like saying yes to moving means saying no to staying. And so that means that like, and I'm preparing myself like friendships are going to
Yeah.
fade because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that it's like, I had this one friend that he was graduating and I was like, either we're never going to see each other again or we need to bring our friendship to the next level. I told him that. I said that to his
Whoa.
face. I was like, either
Wow.
you and I are never going to see each other again or we're going to have to hang out like outside of the BSM.
Yeah.
Like we're going to have to
Yeah.
up our friendship level.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay. And we upped our friendship level.
Nice. Go off.
Upgraded.
Yeah.
Dang.
He's going to help me move. So
Whoa.
he's going to move my furniture. He's a truck. So
From friend
To
to
move.
friend with truck.
to friend the truck. Yeah, exactly.
Is
It's
it
just
an upgrade?
Dash with truck.
Is it an upgrade? I don't know.
It is for me.
I don't know.
It is for Jenna.
But
That's awesome.
yeah, like looking at the future and being like, well, I know
Yeah.
I know that there's gonna be friendships that are gonna melt away, and that's like okay, like
Oh
that's
my
part
gosh,
of life.
that's so scary to
Yeah.
me. All
But-
of you keep talking about
But like
it freaks me out.
like I want to be intentional. I actually have
Yeah.
a plan and everything. I'm gonna make a schedule, and like different
Wow.
people are gonna be on different days, and I'm gonna reach out to them.
Yeah.
So
Go off.
That's
I have a plan,
sweet.
but
I have a plan.
but like you know, life gets busy. How many of them are gonna answer? And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's a reality that I'm facing very soon.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like, so the risk, I guess, is higher. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah,
But it's worth it
yeah.
to take that risk for sure. 100%.
Yeah.
So speaking of kind of where you're heading, you're talking about like plans for the friendships you already have. Like, where are you going in terms of like the friendships you are cultivating now, friendships you will make, like kind of where do you see your future in the friendship space?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing is like I have no idea.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kind of scary. But
Yeah.
one of my friends is keeping my cat for 2 years, so he has to stay in
Yeah.
contact with me
Wow,
pretty much.
nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You got him.
But yeah, like I do plan to like come back and like have
Yeah.
a life here again.
Yeah.
So I would assume that some people would still be friends with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I don't really know what it's gonna look like yet. But I know that I'm gonna make a lot of new friends, and I don't doubt
Yeah.
that like the connections I have here are not only for here. Like I'm gonna build
Yeah.
new
Mhm.
connections overseas, and it's gonna be just as hard because it's 2 years, right? That's about like how long I've had some of these friends.
Mm.
Coming back
Yeah.
is gonna be just as hard as like leaving here is.
Right.
But it's worth it. A, because Jesus, but B,
Yeah.
like I'm going because of Jesus, but it's worth it like making new friends
Yeah.
because like I wouldn't trade the last 2 years of my life and my friendships for like anything.
Mm.
So it's like, yeah, some of that's going to be ending soon, but like it was like worth it because I got to have those experiences.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I always think it's kind of crazy to think about how there are certain people that have seen parts of you that like don't exist anymore.
Yep.
Like I have changed so much, and there are certain people in my life that I'm like, you have seen parts of me that literally are kind of dead. Which
It's like
sounds
taste
morbid.
buds.
Yeah, it's like they genuinely like there's I don't know, I'm like it's kind of crazy to think about that and to know that thing about me that has changed and died ultimately it was part of shaping me and moving me to the place that I am now, you know. But like there are people who know me kind of frozen in that spot, you know, which I think can sometimes be really discouraging, but it's actually like a really beautiful thing of like thinking about like somebody knowing a version of you that has gotten you to where you are, you know.
That's what happened with that girl, that op.
Your
if you
op.
will.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
You're
one
up.
op.
She's back.
Yeah, she like was not a believer in Jesus when we were in high school. She came to college, became a believer, and then I came to college shortly after, was not a believer, and she was like, "Hey, I'm really sorry for like the way that I treated you."
That's wild.
Yeah, so it was like, whoa, like, it was very evident to me that she was like not the same
Yeah.
than she was in high school.
That's cool.
That's
Wow.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting. It's also like kind of scary to me to think about the future of like there are parts of me right now that exist that are probably going to be dead later.
Yeah.
Like could be dead in like a matter of months. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of wild to think about how you grow and change and I guess dead is kind of morbid to think about. I mean whatever. But you know, there are parts
Yeah.
of you that kind of fade away and don't really exist anymore and think like, "Oh, I wonder what that will look like." And I think about that a lot in the context of friendships because I'm like, man, I will be changing and growing all the time. So like there will be things that I value in friendships now that like in a couple of years I may not value that same thing, you know? Which is kind of wild to think about and for your girl, scary. For me specifically, but
Yeah.
maybe not to other people. I don't know. Don't want to speak over that. Speak that over you.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
Good. Anyways.
Anyways, speaking of death,
Whoa. Hello.
sorry.
Where are we going?
What would you say is your like peak of friendship in the sense of like you would feel like there's some sort of mastery or some sort of handle on understanding friendship in your life, kind of like this would be my friendship peak.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm only 22, so I don't think that
Well, hurry up.
yeah, I don't think there's ever going to be a mastery on like relational aspects of life because we're going to be sinners on this side of heaven, and so we can definitely like get better. It's kind of like it's not like linear. It's not like a yo-yo, but it's like somebody carrying a yo-yoing it, but like walking up a flight of stairs at the same time.
Like up and to the
So it's
right.
like up and
Yeah.
down, but it like is getting,
Yeah.
you are getting better. So like there's going to be like little victories and like, oh, I really screwed this up and hurt this person and now I need to like make it right with them.
Yeah.
But the more you grow with that person in particular, and then also just like growing in like what does it mean to love someone properly? Like you're going to have highs and lows, but it's eventually like it's going up still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly what. Yeah, I don't really know.
Would you say like having a friend for 7 years, is that like that a peak?
7 years,
Well,
and then we can just kind of like shake
hold on.
hands and walk off in different directions, and we're good.
Because you're friends for the
We
rest of
want
your
to
life.
forever.
get to 7 years, and then that's when we
And then
quit.
that's-
That's the speed bump.
Or
that we
like
don't
6
move
years
past.
and like 11 and a half months, and you're like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
out.
that's
It's
when it-
a little
'cause,
too
I mean-
serious for me now. I gotta
We're
get
talking
out
about
of
the
here.
rest of our lives
Yeah.
here,
Like,
okay? Come on.
I don't know about
Yeah.
that one. 6 years too long.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I remember like in elementary school, like the girl that I was close with, we were like, oh, we're gonna like get a duplex and like live in it together. And we were like, that's the
hilarious that
pinnacle
you're thinking
of
about
like,
that.
Yeah.
you know, we're like, we're gonna have our dogs and whatnot in
How old
the house.
did you say
and-
you were?
Probably like 4th or 5th grade.
Let's go.
You knew what a duplex
Wow.
was in 4th grade?
I lived in a city that had a lot of duplexes.
Oh,
in it.
okay. That
Nice.
checks
So
out.
we
I
were
was
like, why does that house have 2 doors on it? It's a duplex. Okay,
you're like,
I want to live in one.
Me and my best friend.
That sounds so cool. We
Perfect.
can
It
create
honestly-
a knocking language and knock on the wall to each other. Yeah,
Nice.
we had it
That's awesome.
covered.
Yeah, obviously.
But that was like the pinnacle when you're a kid. But
Mhm.
now it's just like, how can we love each other and be vulnerable together? And
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
like,
Well, I would say even conceptually, like maybe I should ask this too because I was thinking about this as you were saying that. What kind of friend would you say that you want to be, to where you've reached like, okay, this is the
Okay.
peak of like this is the kind of friend I would want to be to somebody. Don't say Jesus,
okay,
I'll
I
be.
wasn't gonna, but
because obvi. Okay.
I'll be. I mean, Jesus is our.
I mean, you
perfect
can describe it. But you have to describe it. You can't just be like Jesus. You know
Okay,
what I
okay,
mean?
Yeah, I think the culmination of like what we've kind of talked about, like being that person that is vulnerable so people can feel vulnerable around you. And then also when they tell you something, like handling it with care
Mhm.
and compassion because they trust you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also just like life is so short, like we should laugh and have fun.
Mm.
Like Ecclesiastes kind of talks about this a little bit where it's like our lot in life, like to work outside of that lot would be like hevel or like useless meaninglessness.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But like God has given us this life to enjoy within what he has created us to be. And we can enjoy it and we should enjoy it and we should do it together because
Mm.
God has created us to be communal people. He tells us we need to be around people. We're not supposed to go through life alone. And that doesn't have to be like okay, only help each other when you're going through the hard things, but it's something that can be
Yeah.
genuinely enjoyed.
Yeah.
And
uh-huh.
that's, I guess, what I want to
Mm.
be for other people is like, yes, there for the growth, there for the hard things, but also there for like the joy and the happiness that we can all share together and look
Yeah.
back on and be like, we have this joke, a couple of my friends, that my senior year when we had that like close knit group,
Mhm.
all the freshmen now are like, oh, like we do these crazy things, we have so much fun, and like all of us are like, man, you should have been there like our senior year, like that was the best year of our lives. I'll say that was the best year of our lives. You can't top it. Best year.
Mhm.
But to genuinely just like look back and be like, no, like we were together, we
Yeah.
like had fun, we were there for each other, and it was
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
the best life we could have had in that aspect because
Mm.
Yeah.
it's meant to be enjoyed with each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's really beautiful.
That's good. It's making me think of Exodus 34, where I'm pretty sure it's like the Lord speaking of himself to Israel, like telling them who he is. And he says, compassionate, gracious, slow
Yeah.
to anger, abounding in faithful love.
Yeah.
It's like, that's
Mhm.
just like what a good friend is.
That's literally what you
Compassionate,
basically said.
gracious, slow to anger,
Mm.
faithful.
Did he pull the God card? I thought I wasn't allowed to do
No,
that.
I mean he sort of did, but like it
But
kind of worked.
But it was
the
a good
adjective.
answer.
He
It was a good
basically
answer.
summed up what you said
Yeah.
in a verse.
Yeah, I'm saying that what you said was straight from
He
the
said
Lord.
straight from the Bible. He said, I don't know if you've ever read Exodus, but it's in there.
Great.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. I don't know. Anyways,
That's
yep,
good.
that's nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Jenna, thanks for coming.
Am I boring?
No.
You are the
Yes!
opposite of boring.
No.
You have been deemed better than a book stack. We should bequeath to the people.
Bequeath. Whoa. Whoa.
Well, remember
Bequeath
the
better than a book
the
stack.
prophecies?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I actually already knew that coming in because of the.
That you weren't boring?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she did.
Well, I'm
because
glad
her
we could
props-
affirm it
her
for
prop-
you.
What is it? Prophetic fortunes.
Yes.
Prophetic fortunes from Panda.
Mm-hmm.
The Panda
Panda's
prophecies.
prophetic-
So wise.
Fortunes.
Love it.
I really thought that was alliteration for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, we
not.
could start fortune with a PH.
Oh,
and then it'd be alliteration.
Fortune.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Okay. Panda's
Like
prophetic.
Pflugerville.
Kind of, except that's a PF.
I love that you.
Pflugerville.
Yeah. Pflugerville doesn't make any
Did
sense.
you know
Pflugerville.
that their high school stadium is called the Pfield? It just says Pfield on the side of
That's
it.
hilarious.
That's really funny.
So it's just like Pflugerville.
Yeah.
Wow. Talk
Yeah.
about a sense of humor. If I could have a town be my friend, Pflugerville is a strong candidate with a sense of humor like that. Like, I feel like I could laugh with Pflugerville.
That's a crazy
So-
statement.
No, but I get it.
Tell us in the comments
Like,
which
I don't-
city you would want to be your friend.
There are some cities I just wouldn't want to be friends with.
Like what? Like who? Or what city?
Let's see. I don't know if I'd get along with Boston super well.
No, yeah, Boston's your op, if anything.
I don't know if it's my op, but just not my favorite. Let's see. I won't keep going. We'll just leave it at Boston. And Boston, I've never been to you, and I'm so sorry for saying what I just said.
Never been.
All the stuff we just talked about friendship just got thrown out the window.
Yeah.
Because you just made all these assumptions about Boston
I did.
without ever even being there.
You know what? I'm gonna eat my words
Oh, do
and
it.
apologize and say Boston.
Bostonians
I would
everywhere.
love to give you a chance. Not Bostonians. I'm sure
Oh.
they're great.
Not Boston. I'm sorry, we're talking about the city.
The city of Boston
I'm sorry.
as a person, personified. I'll give you a chance. I open mind, open heart.
He said, I
over
think
here.
I'll go to Boston.
I don't know that song, but
You do know that song.
who's it by?
I don't think that's a
can't
song.
It
I think
is.
it's a song.
It is.
Anyways,
Oh my god.
we're getting off track.
Put in the comments what song this is because I can't think of the name. But they're
If you
making
know
me go
any
crazy.
songs about Boston, just drop them. Just drop them.
I'm gonna play it for you guys.
Okay.
I can't find my phone.
It's on the other side. She couldn't find her phone.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. Jenna, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having
This was a
me.
really lovely conversation
Yeah,
about
it was
friendship.
awesome.
Yeah.
Go make a
well,
new friend today.
Yeah.
Go make a new friend today.
There it is. Go make someone laugh today. How about
Yeah.
that?
I'm gonna find this.
Cool. Well, this has been better,
Better than
Bookstacks.
Bookstacks.